The alien Queen Empress smiled and said, "I am carrying your child, human." The stars looked quiet, but something moved beyond them. In a control room on Earth, scientists watched the strange signals coming from deep space. The signals were not random, they had a pattern. After weeks of study, the scientists understood one thing. Someone was trying to talk. The message came from a far planet, light years away. The leaders on Earth made a choice. It would send a crew to find the source. A large ship called Horizon 1 was sent into space. The ship carried scientists, soldiers, and engineers. Jack Carter was chosen to lead the mission. He was calm, brave, and trusted by many. Jack sat in the command chair as the ship moved through space. His second in command, Mia Lane, sat beside him. She was smart and careful, always checking every detail. After a long journey, Horizon 1 reached the strange planet. It was green and full of light. The sky had 2 suns, and the plants moved as if they were alive. Jack gave the order to land. A team in protective suits stepped onto the surface. The air was warm and full of a sweet smell. Strange sounds came from the trees, but there was no danger. Soon, they saw the beings who lived there. Tall and graceful, the aliens had glowing eyes and smooth skin. They wore long robes and moved with care. The leader of the aliens came forward. She was different. Her presence was strong, and she looked at Jack with curious eyes. "I am Vaelora," she said. Her voice was soft but clear. "You have traveled far. You are welcome." Jack nodded. "I am Jack Carter. We come in peace." The humans and the aliens walked together. They were taken to a large city built from glass and crystal. Everything shimmered in the sunlight. The humans were given food, water, and places to rest. Jack and his team watched the strange world around them. Vaelora met with Jack again. She asked questions about Earth. She wanted to know about humans, their lives, their hopes. Jack answered with honesty. He felt that she listened not only with her ears, but also with her heart. Days passed. Humans learned more about the alien world. The aliens called their planet Aelyria. It was full of life and beauty, but something was missing. Jack could feel that there was a sadness behind their smiles. Vaelora invited Jack to walk with her in the Garden of Lights. The flowers glowed in the dark, and the air felt alive. They talked for hours. She told him about the history of her people. They had known peace for many years, but now their future was not sure. Jack listened. He started to understand the weight she carried. She was not only a leader, she was a symbol of hope. Jack felt close to her, but he said nothing. He did not want to cross a line. Later, Mia spoke to Jack. "She likes you," she said, "not just as a friend." Jack stayed quiet. He was unsure, but he also knew that something had changed inside him. That night, Vaelora spoke to him again. She looked at him with calm eyes and said, "I have watched you, Jack. You are strong, but also kind. My people see you as a guest, but I see more." Jack looked at her. "I do not know what you mean." Vaelora smiled. "You will understand in time. For now, rest. The path ahead is long." Jack lay awake that night, thinking about her words. The stars outside the window felt closer now. Something had started, and he knew it would change everything. The team on Horizon 1 sent reports back to Earth. They said the mission was going well, but Jack did not share everything in the report. Some things could not be written. Some things had to be felt. He looked out the window again. The alien world glowed under the twin moons. Far away, the stars waited for what would come next. Jack walked through the city with Mia Lane by his side. The streets were wide and clean, lined with glowing trees that moved gently in the wind. The buildings looked like they were made from crystal and shimmered under the light of the twin suns. Aelyria felt like a dream, but Jack knew there was something hidden beneath its beauty. Vaelora invited Jack to a large hall where the history of her people was kept. The walls showed pictures that moved, telling stories without sound. Jack watched battles, peace talks, and celebrations. He saw the faces of many leaders, but none looked as calm and strong as Vaelora. "Our world has seen much," Vaelora said. "But now, we face something we cannot fight with weapons or peace." Jack looked at her. "What is it?" She did not answer right away. Instead, she turned to one of the walls and touched it. A new story appeared, showed children playing, then fewer children, and then none. "Our people are fading," she said. We can no longer create life as we once did. Our future is uncertain. Listened closely. He felt the weight in her voice. Odd. She was not just sharing a problem. She was asking for help without saying the words. Later that day, Jack and Mia visited the Aelyrian Science Center. It was deep under the ground, filled with strange machines and lights. Aelyrian scientists showed them graphs and symbols. Mia tried to understand, asking careful questions. One of the Aelyrians, a kind woman named Vaelora, explained, "Our bodies are no longer able to begin new life. We do not know why. We have tried everything. Then we saw your signal. We believed you might be the answer." Jack was quiet. He felt a deep pull inside him. These people were not enemies. They were survivors, trying to hold on. That night, Jack sat alone in his room. He looked out at the glowing city. Vaelora came to see him. She wore a long robe that shimmered like water. Be-da-da-da-da-da-da. She sat beside him without speaking. Finally, Jack asked, "Why did you really call us here?" Vaelora looked at him. "We hoped for peace. I hoped for more." Jack did not speak. "Your kind may carry what we have lost," she said. "I have studied your people. You're different, but your life force is strong." Jack turned to face her. "Are you asking me to help you create life?" Vaelora nodded. "Yes. Not just through science, but through trust. Through a bond." Jack stood up and walked to the window. He could see Mia and Ethan Ross, the ship's doctor, talking near the garden. This decision was not simple. It would change everything. He turned back. "I will speak with my crew."
Ow.
The next day, Jack gathered his closest team. Mia, Ethan, and crewman Jason met in a quiet room. Jack told them what he had learned. He told them what Vaelora asked. Ethan leaned back in his chair. "If it's true, this could be the most important moment in human history." Mia looked unsure. "But what if they are not telling us everything? What if it's a trap?" Jack understood her fear. "I trust her," he said. "I also know we must be careful." Ethan nodded. "Then we do it with eyes open, with science and care." They agreed to begin a study. Human and Aelyrian scientists would work together. It would be slow and careful. There would be rules. No one would be forced. Later, Jack walked with Vaelora again. She seemed lighter, as if hope had returned to her. "You were brave," she said. "But more than that, you were willing to see beyond fear." Jack smiled a little. "I just want to do what is right." Vaelora touched a small plant that opened with light. Sometimes, what is right is not easy, but it is needed. As night fell over the city, Jack felt something inside him shift. He came to Aelyria as a leader. Now, he was becoming something else, part of something bigger. The stars above Aelyria watched in silence. And far away, Earth waited for the next message, not knowing what future was being shaped under the twin moons. The morning sun rose over Aelyria, casting a golden light across the crystal towers. Jack stood at the edge of a high balcony, watching the city below. Everything looked peaceful, but his mind was not. The decision he made was still fresh, and he knew it would lead to changes none of them could predict. Vaelora met him there. She said nothing at first, only stood beside him. After a while, she spoke. "Our scientists have begun the tests. They believe the process can begin soon." Jack nodded. "Ethan and Mia are overseeing everything. They want to be sure it is safe for both sides." Vaelora looked at him. "And what about you, Jack? Are you ready?" He did not answer right away. He thought about Earth, about his family, about the duty he carried as a leader. "I said yes, because I believe it is the right thing. But I still feel the weight of it." Vaelora gently placed her hand over his. "So do I," in the Science Center. Machines hummed quietly. Human and Aelyrian scientists worked side by side. Charts were studied, samples were tested. Ethan Ross guided the human team, while Vaelora led the Aelyrians. They spoke often, checking each step. Mia stayed close to Jack, always asking questions, always observing. She trusted him, but she also knew how much was at risk. "They need us," she said, "but we have to protect ourselves too." Jack agreed. "That is why I want this done carefully. If this works, it could mean hope for both worlds." A few days later, the process began. It was not done with machines alone. Aelyrian tradition asked for a sacred bond to be formed, a joining of mind and spirit. Vaelora explained that it was more than science. It was about connection, trust, and unity. Jack stood with Vaelora inside a glowing chamber made of crystal. Soft light moved across the walls. The air felt warm, almost alive. A voice from the chamber announced that all systems were stable. Ethan gave the final approval. The ritual began. There were no loud sounds, no bright flashes, only silence, and the slow rise of energy that filled the room. Jack closed his eyes and felt a deep peace, as if time had paused. He saw images from Vaelerora's mind, her memories, her hopes, her fears, and she saw his. When it was over, they both stood quietly. Vaelora smiled at him. Jack felt something new, something strong, bond that could not be seen, but was real. Outside the chamber, the crew waited. Mia looked at Jack with a mixture of pride and worry. "How do you feel?" Jack breathed deeply. Different, but not in a bad way. For the next few days they rested. Vaelora stayed close to Jack. They spoke often, not just about the mission, but about life, choices, and the future. But not everyone was happy. Dylan, one of the engineers, had doubts. He spoke in quiet corners, sharing his fears with others. "We are being used," he said. "Called us here for one reason. They need us to survive. What happens when they no longer need us?" Some crew members listened, some ignored him. But the seed of doubt began to grow. Jack noticed the change. People were more quiet, less open. He spoke with Mia. "Do you think they're right to worry?" Mia frowned. "They fear what they don't understand. But we can't let fear guide us." Jack nodded. "Then we stay open. We share everything. No secrets." One evening, Vaelora called a meeting in the Grand Hall. She spoke to both her people and the humans. "We have begun something new," she said. "Not just between Jack and me, but between our worlds. Trust is the soil where peace can grow. We must care for it." Her words touched many. Even some who had doubts felt a small change. Later, as the stars lit the sky, Jack stood with Vaelora once more. He looked at her and saw not just an empress, but a partner. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, he felt hope. He placed a hand on her shoulder. "Whatever comes next, we face it together." She nodded. Together, far above them, the stars shone brighter than ever before. The days on Aelyria passed quietly at first. Jack and Vaelora spent time together, often walking through the gardens or sitting by the glowing lakes. There was a calm between them, but deep inside, Jack knew not everyone felt the same. Some crew members stayed distant. Dylan, the engineer who had spoken in whispers, now met in secret with a small group. He believed something was wrong with the mission, did not trust the Aelyrians or their purpose. "They brought us here for one reason," Dylan said to the group. "We are part of their plan." And Jack is no longer thinking like a leader. He's thinking like one of them. One of the others, a young man named Luke, looked unsure. "But maybe it's working. The Aelyrians are kind. And Vaelora, she seems honest." Dylan shook his head. "It only looks kind. We are giving them power, and they are giving us stories. We must do something before it's too late." That night, Jack met with Ethan and Mia. They were reviewing data from the science teams. The results were promising. The bond between Jack and Vaelora had started something new. It could lead to a full solution for the Aelyrians. "The early signs are there," Ethan said. "The genetic material is stable. The Aelyrian scientists are amazed." Jack felt a mix of pride and concern. "Then we need to keep going, but stay careful. We're in deep now." Mia looked over her notes. "Jack, there's something else. I noticed that some crew members are avoiding the labs. A few stopped reporting for checks." Jack frowned. "Do you think there's a problem?" "I think there's a growing divide. Some of them don't trust the mission anymore." Later, Jack tried to speak with Dylan, but he could not find him. Dylan had taken a small tool pack and gone into the lower levels of the Aelyrian Tech Center. He moved quietly, placing small devices near the energy cores. He had a plan to shut everything down. Not to hurt anyone, but to force the humans to leave. Back in the palace, Vaelora sensed a shift. She called Jack. "Something is not right," she said. "I feel tension in your people." Jack nodded. Some do not trust this alliance. They fear we are losing control. Vaelora placed her hand on his. Fear can break what hope builds. We must stop it before it grows stronger. Alarms sounded. The energy in the tech center dropped. Lights flickered across the city. A scientist ran to protect the core systems. Mia contacted Jack from the lab. We are losing power in one of the chambers. This is not an accident. Jack ran to the control deck. He ordered a full lockdown of the science sector. Teams searched for the cause, and they found Dylan near the core. Security stopped him just in time. He had placed a device to overload the system. Jack arrived with Mia and Vaelora. Dylan stood with anger in his eyes. "I did what had to be done," Dylan said. "You forgot who you are, Jack. You forgot Earth." Jack looked at him, hurt and calm. "You let fear speak louder than truth." Dylan pointed at Vaelora. "You trust her more than your own people? She has changed you." Vaelora stepped forward. Her voice was steady. "Then let me speak clearly. I carry Jack's child. A new life that joins both our worlds. This is not a plan to harm. It is a chance to begin again." The room went silent. No one spoke. Even Dylan lowered his head. Ethan checked the systems and confirmed the damage was limited. No one was hurt. Jack gave the order to hold Dylan, but asked that he be treated with respect. "He acted from fear, not hate," Jack said. "But we must not let fear win." The next day, repairs began. Trust was shaken, but not lost. Many of the crew started to see Vaelora and her people differently. Jack stayed close to her. He felt the child growing inside her was more than a miracle. It was a message, proof that different worlds could become one. And high above, the stars kept watching. Quiet and distant, yet full of stories yet to be told. Peace returned slowly to the city of Aelyria. The light towers shined again, and the energy systems were back in control. But something had changed in the air. People walked with quieter steps. The events caused by Dylan had left a shadow. Jack spent more time with the crew. He visited the workstations, shared meals, and listened. He wanted them to know he was still their leader, still human. Mia helped him. He spoke with those who had doubts and reminded them why they came here. "We came for peace," she said to a group in the common room. "And now we are part of something bigger." Vaelora also reached out. She opened her halls to the crew, inviting them to learn about Aelyrian culture. Songs, food, and stories filled the rooms. Some humans joined with care. Some still held back. Jack knew trust would take time. One morning, Vaelora stood in the healing chambers. The Aelyrian doctors checked her carefully. Their faces were calm, but their eyes showed wonder. "The life is strong," one of them said. "Bond between human and Aelyrian grows each day." Jack entered the room and stood beside her. He saw the light on the screen, moved slowly like a gentle wave. "Is everything good?" he asked. Vaelora smiled. "Yes, our child is healthy." Jack felt a strange joy. Not fear, not confusion. Just a deep sense of right. This life growing inside her was not just theirs. It belonged to both worlds. Ethan later explained to the team that this was not just a single event. "This child," he said, "shows that a new future is possible. It means hope not only for the Aelyrians, but for us too." News of the child spread across the planet. Aelyrians came from far places to stand outside the palace, singing songs of blessing. Some humans joined them. They stood side by side, no longer strangers. But peace does not stay quiet for long. From the edge of the galaxy, a signal arrived. The Horizon One picked it up first. Mia ran to Jack with the report. "It's a storm," she said. "A space storm, the biggest we've seen. It's heading this way." Jack read the data. The storm would reach Aelyria in 2 days. Its power could break systems, destroy fields, and damage their labs. The Science Center was not ready for something this strong. He called a meeting at once. Vaelora stood with the Council of Elders. Human officers joined them. "We must protect the child," said one elder. "The storm will be strong," Ethan added. "We must protect the energy core. If it fails, life support across the city will fall." Jack made a plan. He and Mia would lead a team to secure the core. Others would guard the palace. Vaelora would stay in a safe zone under the healing chambers. The next day, Dark clouds filled the sky, and the twin suns faded behind thick shadows. Winds began to rise. The ground shook as the storm neared. Jack stood in the lower tech sector with his team. Mia worked beside him. They tightened bolts, locked panels, and powered up the shields. "Hold steady," Jack told them. "We've faced worse. We do this together." Above them, Vaelora lay on a soft bed, her breath slow but strong. Aelyrian healers stood around her. The child was coming sooner than expected. "It is time," one of them said. "We must begin." The storm hit the outer towers first. A wave of energy struck the shield walls. Lights flickered across the city. Alarms rang. Jack called out to the team. "Hold the line. We can't lose power." In the chamber, Vaelora cried out. The healers worked quickly, guiding the birth. Outside, the storm roared, but inside, a new life fought its way into the world. Then silence. Cry filled the room. Soft, small, but full of life. Vaelora held the child close, her eyes filled with tears. "He is here," she whispered. At the same moment, Jack heard Mia say, "Power is stable. We made it." He looked up at the dark sky and smiled. Life had won. Later, Jack stood beside Vaelora. She held their child, wrapped in a glowing cloth. The crew and Aelyrians stood together, watching with wide eyes. "He belongs to both worlds," Vaelora said. Jack nodded. "And maybe he can help them become one." The storm passed, but its memory stayed. Not as fear, but as proof that light could rise even through the darkest sky. The sky over Aelyria turned blue again. Storm was gone, but the memory of it remained in every corner of the city. People talked about how the power stayed on and how no one was hurt. But more than anything, they talked about the birth of the child. The baby boy was unlike anything the world had seen. His eyes glowed softly, and his skin held a warm light that shifted with the room. He had the calm presence of Vaelora and the quiet strength of Jack. People gathered near the palace just to hear his soft cries or to see his light from a distance. Inside the healing chambers, Jack held the child in his arms. Vaelora rested beside him, tired but peaceful. "He is strong," Jack said, looking at the baby. "He carries our future," Vaelora replied. Ethan and Mia entered the room quietly. They looked at the child with awe. "Is he healthy?" Mia asked. "Very," Ethan said. "His body holds both human and Aelyrian traits." The bond worked. Jack stood and walked to them with the child. "I want him to know both sides. I want him to walk in both worlds." Mia smiled. "Then we must show him what both worlds can be." That week, the humans and Aelyrians worked together more than ever before. Engineers helped repair the towers. Doctors shared knowledge. Soldiers trained side by side to protect the city. Walls between them began to fall. The child became a symbol. Lauren was chosen by both cultures. It meant light in the old tongue of Aelyria and hope in the language of Earth. One evening, Jack stood on the balcony of the palace. Mia joined him. They looked out at the crowd below. People from every corner of the planet had come. "They believe in him," Mia said. "They believe in us," Jack replied. "But not all of them. Some still hold fear." Mia nodded. "It will take time. Trust always does." A few days later, a message came from Earth. The council wanted a full report. They had heard about the child and wanted proof. Some leaders were excited. Others were afraid. Jack sat in a chamber with a screen in front of him. The call connected, and the leaders of Earth appeared. Their faces showed mixed feelings. "We need to know everything," one of them said. "How did this happen? What are the risks?" Jack answered with calm words. He told them about the Aelyrians, about their loss, and about the bond that created Leorin. "He is not a weapon," Jack said. "He is a child born of trust, not control." Some of the leaders nodded. Others looked away. "What do you want us to do?" one asked. "Let this be the start of something better," Jack replied. "Let Earth learn, not fear." After the call ended, Jack returned to the garden where Vaelora waited with Leorin. She had heard the words through a private link. "Do they accept him?" she asked. "Not all," Jack said. "But some are ready to listen. That is enough for now." That night, a small group from the human crew lit a signal fire in the field outside the palace. They placed symbols of Earth and Aelyria beside it. Vaelora joined them, carrying Leorin in her arms. Jack stood beside her. One by one, humans and Aelyrians stepped forward, They shared food, music, and quiet stories. Ethan raised a glass to the child who brings light and to the people who found peace. Mia looked at the stars. They watched us from the start. Oh, maybe they smile. The fire burned into the night. No more words were needed. The child slept, his light steady and soft. And in the hearts of those who stood around that fire, something new was born. A belief that even in the darkest times, hope could rise. The two worlds, once strangers, could become something more. The journey was not over, but the path ahead was brighter than before. And above them, the stars kept their silent watch. The morning light touched the towers of Aelyria. The city was calm, but something was different. It had been many days since the child Leorin was born, and each day brought new changes. People from far parts of the planet had come to see him. Some came with gifts. Some came with questions. Jack watched all this with quiet eyes. He stood by a window, holding a report in his hand. The Earth Council had sent a new message. They wanted to send another ship. They wanted more answers. Mia entered the room. "They will arrive in 2 weeks," she said. Jack nodded. "They want to study him. They want to protect Earth," Mia said. "Some of them still fear what they don't understand." Jack looked out at the city, and we will help them understand. Vaelora was in the garden with Leorin. She held him in her arms, showing him the flowers that glowed in the sun. When Jack joined them, she looked up. "They come soon," she said. "Yes," Jack replied, "but this time we are ready." That night, Jack met with the Council of Aelyria. He explained the Earthship's arrival and their purpose. "We will not hide anything," Jack said. "Let them see the truth. Let them see the peace." The Council agreed. Vaelora spoke last. "The child belongs to both our worlds. If Earth comes with questions, we will answer. If they come with fear, we will give peace." When the Earth ship entered the sky, the people of Aelyria looked up. It was large, bright, and strong. It landed outside the city near the lake where the first meeting had taken place. A group of officers stepped out. They were careful but calm. Leading them was a man named Adam Reed. He walked with sure steps and looked around with sharp eyes. Jack stepped forward. "Welcome to Aelyria." Adam looked at him. "You've been busy?" Jack smiled. "Come, let me show you." They walked through the city. Adam saw the glass towers, the soft trees, and the people who lived in harmony. He listened to songs in the air and watched as humans and Aelyrians worked side by side. Finally, Jack brought him to the palace. Vaelora stood at the entrance with Leorin in her arms. Adam looked at the child. He said nothing for a long time. "Is he... stable?" Adam asked. "He is healthy," Jack said. "Stronger than we hoped." Ethan showed the medical data. Mia shared the science results. The officers listened. Some looked unsure. Others seemed to understand. Adam spoke with Jack in private later. "Many back home still fear this. They think we may lose control." Jack looked at him. "You think this is about control? But it's about trust." I gave it, and they gave it back. Adam walked to the window. "And what if he grows to be something we can't predict?" Jack nodded. "Then we raise him with both sides. We guide him with care." For 3 days, the Earth team stayed, studied, asked, and watched. They ate with the people and walked through the markets. They saw a world not broken, but healing. On the last day, Adam stood with Jack and Vaelora. "I will report what I saw," he said, "and I will speak with truth." Jack reached out his hand. Adam shook it. "This is not the end," Adam said. "No," Jack replied. "It's only the start." The Earth ship left. It carried more than data. It carried hope. Weeks later, a message came. Earth had agreed to send more people. Scientists, artists, builders. They wanted to learn, not fight. A school was opened in Aelyria where human and Aelyrian children would study together. Leorin's name was on the wall, not as a hero, but as a beginning. Jack walked through the halls with Mia. "Do you think it will last?" she asked.
Ow.
Jack looked at the students learning side by side. It must. In the garden, Vaelora watched Leorin take his first steps. He walked with joy, not knowing the weight he carried. Jack joined her. "He is stronger than we think." Vaelora smiled. "He will lead when we are gone, but today he is just a child." Far above, the stars watched, quiet still. full of light. The story of two worlds had changed, not with war, but with a smile, a step, and a child who carried them both into a new dawn.